Hello and welcome to the Spinnin Backfist MMA show. We are recapping UFC Vegas 50. I think it was the 50th Apex Fight Night. I don't even know how they necessarily order those, though.
Either.
There's so many of them, but we're here. It's Robbie Fox. It is Big Ev. It is JackMac. We are here before UFC London. I leave tomorrow, 9 a.m. for our guy Patty the Batty. Check out this hoodie. Can't say how people are going to get it yet, but keep an eye on all socials, and maybe you'll be able to get it on the sportsbook or something.
That one's awesome.
It's pretty sweet. It's a Carhartt hoodie, too. So
it's Carhartt, black, and I like the black and red. Ugh, that's a good one.
Liverpool patch on the side.
Liverpool patch. Liverpool versus Arsenal this week. It's a big week.
It is.
Across the pond, you're going to get some content from Mimum's Cellar, as we call it, over across the pond. But we got some headlines to get into first. The first of which, Ferguson versus Chandler booked for UFC 274. It is the co-main to Oliveira Gaethje, which I also just figured out I think I'm probably going to be at, so that'll be cool.
Is that in Vegas?
It is in Vegas, and I'm going to be in Las Vegas with Large for the Canelo fight that week.
Oh.
But I don't think I'm needed the night of the Canelo fight, so I'll probably just stay there and go to that fight.
Right around Cinco de Mayo time.
Exactly.
Love that.
I think this is going to be a murder. I think Chandler's going to murder Ferguson.
I don't see why not, right?
And I'm shocked that they even gave Ferguson this fight.
I can't. Yeah, I wonder if, I think it was Lee Holbert who helps with our Spinning Backfist socials. He said something along the lines of Ferguson take an easy fight challenge. Like he'll never take one. Like even if he has a retirement fight, who would you put him up against? I don't know. I saw that and I think it would have been sick like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But right now, is
not even
there
5 years
even
ago,
a, like
before Ferguson just started getting wrecked.
Yeah, is there even a world where you could see Ferguson even making another run? He seems so washed.
Because the one thing I was trying to play devil's advocate and say, well, besides the Gaethje fight, he hasn't been dominated on the feet. And even in the Gaethje fight, he did land the one knockdown at the end of, I think, the second round. The other two have he just got mauled on the ground by Charles and Beneil.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to play devil's advocate. I mean, he hasn't been, put out on his feet. No one's, even the Gaethje fight was just tagging him up for 5 rounds till it was a standing KO. Yeah. So, I don't, and Chandler has been, very adamant that he's a showman. He's not coming here to wrestle. I've been watching interviews he's done about the Gaethje fight where he thinks very much so that if he wrestled, he could have just won the fight.
Yeah. And
chose not to do that and just chose to throw hands and make it the fight of the year.
He loves that, too. He's like, I don't care that I got the fucking loss. He's like, everyone's talking about that fight. That's what people are going to remember about.
And that's
that
what I'm saying.
event.
He's kind of taken that mindset. So,
yeah.
I mean, that leads me to believe that he's going to stand and trade with Tony, which, from what we've seen, I think he would get the better end of that. He hits much harder, I would say, at this point in his career, for sure. He's more explosive at this point in his career. I don't know. I want to see this be a good fight. I'm, very worried that, I just feel like Gaethje took a piece of Tony in that fight. That I don't know if he'll ever get that back.
Joe,
that's what scares me.
And on this card, so that's Oliveira Gaethje. Then Cowboy against Joe Lazone on that one.
Oh yeah,
that's a throwback.
Lozon.
That's a great fight.
There's another old. It's OSP is fighting Shogun in that card.
Oh yeah, that's a little old timers fight.
I believe so.
A little variety on that card. I like that.
He is.
Another news item, Francis Ngannou set to get knee surgery. He's going to be out for at least 9 months. Are we going with another interim title, another interim heavyweight title here? Yeah. Probably, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe Stipe versus Tai? We talked about that. Is that going to be
Tai Tuivasa is going to be the heavyweight champion of the world.
Oh, my God.
Unreal. I would love it so much. I said it yesterday. It's Stipe, better end of him, and then somehow, he just end up on the mat.
Yeah. Whitaker, Vettori, we were speculating about this. It's rumored for UFC 275, which would go down in June. Would be a great fight. I'd like to see it.
Does that have a main event yet?
Which one?
Oh, that's the Yuri Glover main event.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, he got moved. That's right. Okay.
So Yuri Glover.
That's a great co-main.
Yuri Glover's when? July?
That's July, I believe.
June, I think.
Let's look. Oh yes, June, because 274 is.
It is. It's May, June 11th. 275 to Shera.
And then
it's
276 is the rumored. That's the one that Tai Tuivasa versus Stipe is rumored to be on in July, I think.
You think they could make that a pay-per-view main, or you think that's the co-main? Because I feel like it'd be a co-main probably.
I feel like that's still, people are saying maybe Conor comes back in July. I don't know if it's going to be good for that. But, You could
that'd be a great one too.
Yeah, you can make it the main event if you strapped an interim title to it, but like you probably want for International Fight Week something a little better.
Yeah, I would think so too.
No disrespect to Ty or Stipe.
Just Stipe coming off a bad loss.
Yeah, and there's no like rivalry there. There's no built-in. It's kind of just like kind of thrown together, but it's a great fight. I want to see it.
And then,
but you would have to sell the public on.
Fury is in Singapore. Is that the first UFC event ever in Singapore?
I don't think it's the first ever in Singapore. They do a lot of one championship events there. I know there's a big MMA like audience.
That would be
there.
cool.
They haven't been there in a long time though. Clearly.
And Valentino against Thiago Santos.
Little Valentina mauling.
Yeah.
Greg Hardy, not re-signed. His contract ran up. They decided we're not going to re-sign you. I think he'll probably stick around in MMA. He'll be able to fight cans in the PFL or Bellator or Eagle FC, wherever he wants to go next. Like Ev said last week, he could have been the sacrificial lamb for the UFC. He no longer will be.
I think the PFL probably would make sense. Like, they're on ESPN. They're going that route. I would think that would be probably one that would make sense. Like, or Eagle FC. Eagle FC, I think they'll kind of just right now, they're taking any, like, big.
I know. That's becoming the new, like, when people used to say, like, Bellator's all washed up UFC old timers. Now Bellator's more like prospects, and Eagle FC is becoming that.
Ray Borg fought this week in Eagle FC.
Yeah. Shout out Ray Borg, missing weight legend.
Yeah, he missed weight like
I mean, think that their next main event is Junior Dos Santos and Yorgan De Castro.
Yorgan De Castro.
We could see Greg Hardy getting, like, the winner of that fight.
Also, Diego Sanchez did not look as bad as people thought he was going to look against Kevin Lee.
Yeah, I was sitting there. I mean, Kevin Lee, I think at points got to even like minus like 4,000.
Did, yeah.
That's crazy.
He tweaks his knee in the first. Yeah. I would be profusely.
If
I laid minus 4,000 and this guy almost buckles his knee.
Yeah.
Like 20
and then Diego Sanchez starts piecing him up.
Like 20 seconds in the fight, he's fighting on one leg.
There is another in that Eagle FC coming up. There is another old school guy fighting in it.
They'll take anyone at this point. I think
if you have any sort of
go to Khabib, and Khabib was like, "Brother, I let you fight. Let's do this.
Give you big money.
Yeah.
More money than UFC.
Number one heavyweight.
I will
fight.
say it was so on that card. I watched some of it, and it was so it was Chael Sonnen. I forget who was on the play-by-play, and then also Henry Cejudo, and then Usman came in. It was a cast of characters. I didn't think it was that bad. I saw some people saying bad things about Usman. I didn't think Usman was that bad on the mic. I mean, Cejudo's cringe, but like whatever.
Usman also doesn't do commentary, right? It's probably like his first time.
That was like his first time,
like
but
that,
he's still. So. I think he's trying to get into it more and more. He does the
after show. I could see him getting better.
Yeah. And so but I didn't think it was that bad. It was interesting. It was like in this like ballroom in Miami somewhere.
Yeah.
But it was actually not bad. I mean, I got the app on my TV and like it was easy to watch on my Roku for free.
I'll keep an eye on Eagle FC from a distance for sure.
Exactly.
It's not like the thing I'm like, oh my god, I can't wait for the next Eagle FC event. But I'm like, all right, they'll probably tune out a couple good finishes a year.
I mean, just the fact that it's free.
Yeah,
exactly. I didn't watch the second. I watched the first one though. I did see the first one, and I didn't mind it. Like I didn't. Cejudo is kind of annoying.
Yeah. I like Cejudo.
Like he is knowledgeable, so it's hard to. I try to like take it with a grain of salt, but. Just when there's just something about the way he speaks, he's just like an annoying fuck.
Yeah.
I think, well, he is. I think, who was there? Who's the girl from PFL? Like,
Kayla Harrison?
Kayla Harrison. Yeah. And then they called her like triple champ or whatever. And then Cejudo was like, no, I'm the real triple champ.
Triple C, yeah.
I'm triple C. There's only one triple C in the building. And Chelsea was just like, ugh. All right, Henry.
Him and McGregor exchanged Twitter.
That was one of the next headlines. Yeah, Henry Cejudo was saying if Conor came back at 155, he would beat him at 155. That's a ridiculous thing to say. He's a little tiny guy. Conor also responded to Jake Paul for the first time ever, which was like kind of shocking to me that he would even go there and respond because it was like that's what got you to respond to Jake Paul. It wasn't the fucking $1 million chain that he made and broke the ankle off of. It wasn't going after your wife. It wasn't going after your children. It wasn't going after you as a father, you as a sobriety, drug addict, whatever. It was him saying like your boxing sucks after you broke your leg. McGregor's video, hysterical. I'll use that for years to come. Jackass. So funny, but also like that's a win for Jake Paul. Him getting a response is a win for Jake Paul.
So did he? So the way he posted it, like, did he even like I think we obviously took it as like that was a shot. Like, did he directly like back at Jake Paul?
It was
like it's obvious, but like where I'm saying like where did he post? Like where was the initial post?
It was on Twitter. Jake tweeted like your boxing's horrible. Then I think ESPN Boxing cut that out, cut the tweet out, and put it on a video of McGregor boxing.
Oh, and then
he responded to that. So it was it was a screenshot of the Jake Paul tweet. Yeah.
Okay.
You think this fight's gonna happen, right? Eventually.
No.
I remember talking to you a while ago.
I was starting to think yes. For me, I think part of it is that I don't think Jake Paul is enough. I've now with some of the pay-per-view numbers.
Yeah.
I don't think he's enough of a draw.
Yeah.
That the money for McGregor would be worth it because he's already so rich.
Yeah.
And I think he already has so much money and Proper 12 Whiskey is doing so well that I don't think it's for example, it's not like Mayweather where he's gonna make $100 million.
I don't think so either.
Where I don't think the money to fight Jake Paul is gonna be worth it unless Jake Paul somehow just
And why would you
wins all these fights and knocks out some real legit guys. I don't know.
Jake Paul's also legitimately bigger than him. He fights at 190 pounds, right? McGregor fought at 145, now fights at 155, 170 sometimes. It's why would you even risk it against that guy where it's kind of a lose-lose? If McGregor beats him, everyone's going to be of course McGregor beat him. Where it's why risk that? Why not just fight someone in your own weight class in the UFC?
I think he's 100% determined to come back to the UFC. Obviously, we know that. He had the post over the weekend or over the week where he said, back to training for the first time, or boxing training for the first time since, his new leg. He has a
bionic leg.
Yeah, he has a bionic leg now. I know he's been training elsewhere, but it's just he lives in Dubai now, which is also kind of funny.
Yep.
I don't know why it's funny to me, but I guess Dubai is kind of moving from New York to Florida, from Ireland. It's really nice weather all the time. It's a really nice city, and he just boxes.
I think he goes back and forth to Abu Dhabi on his yacht too.
Yeah, so he just has
that's so rich.
Yeah,
so rich.
Awesome.
Yeah.
He's having the time.
Got a Ferrari yacht too.
I know, unbelievable.
That's the coolest shit in the world. A green Ferrari yacht.
Yeah, and it's how much is that worth?
That guy's not fighting Jake Paul for $20
I don't think.
million.
So interestingly enough, I wonder about those pay-per-view numbers. So on Showtime, it was what 60 to 70K.
So yeah, I think it was
streaming.
It was
numbers.
more than that. It was more than that. That was a little that lowballed him because there was other bigger streaming numbers.
Yeah.
But I just don't think the numbers are going to add up to what it would take to get him actually in the ring with him. And I think on top of that too, I think Jake Paul's punching power and being bigger is enough of a threat to just be not getting it's not worth it.
Let's not give him the puncher's chance.
Because say by God, somehow he imagine he slept McGregor like he did Woodley in another world, in this crazy hypothetical world I'm making up right now. That's enough to
I don't even like you making up that world.
That's a McGregor just legacy destroyer.
What's your official prediction for McGregor's first fight back? You think it's a championship fight, or you think he gets somebody
I thought it would be a championship fight before they made the Gaethje Oliveira fight. The winner of that fight would have to make such a quick turnaround to fight him if he wants to fight in July or August. That I don't know. The way Dana's talking, people are cringing, but it makes me think he is going to get a title fight.
Well, I mean, imagine. Well, I was thinking once you just said that you mentioned the quick turnaround, but for one of them, it could be
those are two guys that could make the quick turnaround.
So if you want this multi-million-dollar payday,
life-changing money.
You'll make this quick turnaround.
Yeah.
Which I think they'd be willing to do, barring some crazy injury or something to the winner.
I would be so mad. Could you imagine?
But it's almost teeing it up for McGregor in a way, making them fight on this not short notice, but making them kind of fight him on the quick turnaround.
Yeah,
I'm down for that.
What do you do? Yeah. And then
you give him the winner of Chandler Ferguson. It's the same night. But it's if you don't want to give him a title shot, do you give him
why give him
eliminator?
Chandler if it's not for a title? I mean, I know it would
sell. A banger.
It's a banger.
It's a banger fight, yeah.
And they have
a little bit of history. Chandler was in the co-main of that Abu Dhabi, the second McGregor-Poirier fight.
He was let's do it, you and I. And then I think McGregor responded to a tweet or something.
I think McGregor was kind of respectful in a way. He was kind of we would put on a great show for the fans or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
I think you could give him the winner of Ferguson versus Chandler. I think you could give him Nate Diaz if you wanted to, but it seems like Dustin Poirier and Nate Diaz might go down this summer. Another fight that might go down this spring, not this summer. Rob Font versus Cheeto Vera. This is not a might. This is a made fight. April 30th, a main event of a fight night. I think this is a banger of a fight. Speaking of bangers.
Yeah, it's weird with Rob Font because the last fight with Aldo was so weird because it just felt in that fight, it was almost I think I bet on him, and it was like frustrating to watch because it just felt like he was like piecing him up, and then he would just get rocked. And he just kept getting rocked, getting like he got dropped like maybe like 3 or 4 times. I feel like in that fight where he was like doing more volume, but he just kept like losing, like he was like losing all the rounds because he was just getting hurt really bad when he got hurt. That's an interesting one because I thought Font was gonna win that fight and be like right there for that next like title shot. I mean, I think he's a much better striker than Cheeto is on the feet. Like I think he should be able to just jab him to death. Not that like Cheeto's some like some slouch, but
unless Cheeto hits one of those fucking O'Malley leg nerves.
Yeah, I mean, or he like front kicks him in the face like he did to Frankie.
True, yeah.
Because I even think Frankie was like kind of winning that fight as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there was a chance he was up on the cards for sure when he got knocked out.
Yeah, 100%. No, yeah, that fight's a banger.
All right, let's talk about this weekend's cards. We had a lot of good fights, a lot of good finishes. We kicked the card off, pun intended, with a big step-in knee that we needed. This was Azamat Murzakanov. I hope I said that name right. It was like a flying knee, step-in knee. I called it a flying knee, and someone gave me shit for it, but he was off the ground. Both feet were off the ground. There's a picture of it.
It's a big boy.
He lost the first 2 rounds. I didn't watch this live, and I had to watch it later. This kicked off our parlay, and it almost ruined our parlay right away.
Petrified.
Yeah.
He was clearly down 2-0. He actually, before the knee, he landed a big left.
Yep.
That I think clearly hurt him. Like, he kind of, like, stood back and was definitely, I think he was trying to play the poker face, but the Azamat, I think he recognized it. He was trying to, like, gather himself, and he just attacked with that knee.
Yeah, he did hurt him. Like, I had it. I mean, 2-0 was a fine scorecard after the first 2 rounds. I could have seen how, like, maybe you could have given him the first. But he was fighting well in that start of the 3rd round, and then obviously he hit the knee. It wasn't, like, out of nowhere because he did hurt him. He
landed a couple bit. Like, the left, I think, was the biggest one that I noticed. You could see his face a little bit, like, he just stood back and was, like, off. Like, he clipped him for sure.
But that's classic, like, I mean, it helps him because he'll have the undefeated record, but first UFC fight against a guy that's, like, not a bum, but he's, like, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see him in the UFC again. Yeah. But the guy he fought, like, kind of pieced him up, and it shows, like, you're not on the regionals anymore. Like, you're not on a regional UFC or
welcome
anymore.
to the big stage.
Yeah, welcome to the big stage. Like, even the guys that you think are cans here are, like, really, really good. But he didn't quit. Like, there was always talk about his cardio coming into this fight, and he was in the 3rd round. He still had, like, he had the power to hit him, to injure him, and then obviously, I mean,
the knee was incredible.
The knee was incredible, and it was a great stoppage. They didn't let him. Like, it was like once that knee landed, it was
walked away from him. Up next, this was a not lights out stoppage. This was a stoppage against our guest last week, Chris Moitana. It's tough to have a guest lose because then people were like, "Are you a jinx?" But I'm counting Cody Brundage as a win for us because we had
Jacoby,
Dustin Jacoby was in his corner. So we had the whole team in. Moitano, tough man in the first round too. You know, he showed so much heart, resiliency against O'Malley, making it into the 3rd. He couldn't get it done against Guido.
Guido just came out just throwing bombs, and they were not missing his face.
Yeah, Guido's pissed.
They were all
losing.
landing.
Yeah, what was he? He lost his last 3. He was 2-5 in his last 7.
Yeah, he's 42. I mean, he had nothing to lose.
Yeah, he was like,
and then he got called
not
out
again.
Later.
And I will
get called out. Yeah,
I will say I think the stoppage was a little premature.
Yeah,
but he was landing big bombs, and that's what happens when you're the American Zombie. You just like don't die.
Yeah,
American Zombie.
You just eat shots to the face.
The only thing that I agree with it was there was like, have you ever seen somebody like get hit by like a soccer ball behind like you're going to London?
Yeah,
a football, and so there's obviously the goal, and then the stands are right behind it. Like hit him somebody in the head, really hard shot, hard ball, and then somebody's arms will go straight up. Like they'll go like,
I see, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Matinho's arms after like the punch that they stopped it on, his arms went like this,
flew up,
like almost like he got knocked out on the feet. But he's the zombie, so he's not gonna. He's gonna knock
like zombie arms is like. Ugh.
I wonder who that happened to. That happened in the Fiziev Brad Riddell fight. Kind of.
Yeah.
Like he was like kind of like this, and then like he went away, and he kind of like fell forward.
Exactly.
Like,
how about when they Johnny Walker got turned into a wacky waving inflatable?
Oh, that was insane. Well, that
he went arms all over the place.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Speaking of early stoppages, by the way, skipping ahead a bit, did you feel like the McKinney fight was a little early?
He was done.
I
think he was cooked. It looked like he poured everything out in that flurry, but it was just like, I don't know, if you let him fucking kick Dober's ass like that. Let him take a little bit more.
It was one of those, watching it, I was like, oh God, I was like, he's going to get stopped. Because
Yeah.
just the way he just was covering up and he just wasn't moving, and just it was like 5, 6, 7, 8. Not like they're only going to
just
take
rooting
so
for
many.
him too. I was like, come
Oh,
on.
I was big time. I mean, because I still think he's a stud. I just hope it's not like like blowing his load problem a little bit.
Yeah.
Like just I think literally his last like 6 fights had not been out of the first 2 minutes.
So this was
5 fights before this one. But Dober, huge step up from anyone he's fought.
Short notice.
And like was very close to finishing him almost like 30 seconds in. Like he had him hurt twice real bad. I mean, you look at both their face after the fight. Dober's was way more pieced up than his was.
Dober said that I was watching the post fight, and Dober said like the first one I knew came from like it was a knee maybe, or and then he was like the second one I didn't know where it came from because he was like I was not knocked out, but like I didn't know where it came from.
You're in a cloud of smoke, like in a cartoon.
His bell got rung a couple times.
McKinney, I mean, short turnaround,
8 days I think.
And Dober, like I mean, Dober won 3 rounds with Makhachev. Like
Dober was ranked, like he was
like
guy until basically like a few months ago.
Like he this isn't. I mean, he just got blew his load. He went for the
great
finish.
Fight, round of the year.
Super. I mean, he's 27. He's really young.
He'll be fine.
He'll be fine.
I think he has like that.
Like I think he's gonna be like a top 10 like ranked contender in his future at some point.
Yep,
I do believe that.
Next fight on the prelims, Cody Brundage, our guest on this week's show. He's going to join the show a little bit later. He is absolutely getting his ass whooped for the first 4 minutes of this fight, right? Yeah, first 4 minutes of this fight. And then he turns around and whoops a little guillotine on, gets the win. This has to be, and it's kind of similar to like the Azamat fight. When you're winning a fight, you have to get this like crazy confidence of like, holy shit, I've been waiting months, weeks sometimes for a fight. Now I know I'm better than this guy. Yes, I'm better than this guy. All right. And then to get guillotined like that must be the most disheartening thing in the entire world.
Because he was piecing him up in the feet, and then he just kind of like shot a takedown.
Yeah.
And just immediately got guillotined. Like that was
just
not a smart play on his part.
It was like, so I bet Brundage in that fight because I was expecting it to round 2, and then his cardio would go Dalcha's. But Dalcha, when he was, I think Cody shot that takedown, and then Dalcha like kind of got him when Brundage was still like, I think he had his arms together, and Dalcha came under and hit him. And it seemed like it hurt him, and then from there he dominated for the next 3.5 minutes. But you could see Dalcha after it, like when they rose Cody's hand, it was like the defeat in Dalcha's like eyes was like, oh man, and you felt
had it. It was like you had it, man.
Yeah, and he
fumbled it. He fumbled the bag.
Yeah,
he knew he had it too. He was like. And that's the thing about like this, I mean, sport. That's just crazy. It's like all it takes like a few bad breaks. It's not like baseball. It's not like, oh, you get another at bat like in a few innings. No, that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't know if he'll probably get another one, but I mean, and you're fighting for your spot, your roster spot in the next time, just because like someone jumped guillotine on you. It's too bad Conor didn't do that to.
He almost did.
I know he almost
did. He almost jumped the guillotine. That would have been.
That would have been
mad.
I would have loved to hear his quote too after he said like submissions don't count in MMA. Like knockouts. That would have been funny. The next two, speaking of submissions, were pretty dominant submission wins from Damon Jackson and Miranda Maverick. The Miranda Maverick one, producer Tom wrote it in the notes. There was that quick moment where she almost got armbarred.
Yeah.
And that was part of our parlay. So as soon as she was like in that moment where she kind of folded her, stacked her on top of Sabina Mazo on top of herself, I was just like, oh, no, please, no. We need an easy one. And then she did make it an easy one. Damon Jackson, another one. Finished Kirk in the second round with an arm triangle. Fletcher won in the first round with a takedown in wrestling.
That one.
Wait. Fletcher did not win. He wins round 1. Sorry, I read the notes wrong. He won the first round with takedowns. Gets the fight the second.
As a Fletcher plus 170 better, it hurt.
And then Semi the Jedi with hair in his face.
But it was the craziest thing because
he couldn't.
Fletcher clearly won the first round. I would say even dominated the first round. Second round, he was winning the first 2.5, probably 245-ish maybe.
And I even texted you.
There was a position. He was on like Semmelsberger's arm, and he kind of like slid off over, and then Semmelsberger just got on top.
Yeah.
And just one dominated, kept him there like the rest of the round. Kind of took the round. I almost was like, when the decision came, I was hoping like maybe a judge or two could give it to Fletcher, just because they almost like did the same thing to each other like for halves of the round.
Yeah.
But Semmelsberger, I think, did a little more damage and just kind of like I think you're always going to kind of win if you get the second half of the round. And then he just clearly won the third round.
I don't think you saw my DM. I wanted to get him on the show. We wanted to get the winner of this fight on the show. I DM'd Semi the Jedi, no response. But by the looks of his Instagram, he was partying it up on the Las Vegas
He deserved
Strip,
it. That was a big win. That was a big win.
With hair in his face, like I said, he looked like Cousin It from the Addams Family. You just couldn't even see his eyes. He had it ponytailed up for a little bit, and then it just came out.
I think it came out. Yeah. There was a point. Yeah, I was like, can he see?
It didn't look like he could. It looked like
you can't,
there's that character in Star Wars who his name's Chirrut, who's blind, and it like helps him. He just feels with the Force and shit.
Okay, maybe that's
maybe.
I mean, he's a Jedi.
Semi the Jedi could be,
but he's But I think Fletcher has a decent.
I think Fletcher could.
Fletcher looked good.
If they do that fight 10 times, I actually think Fletcher could win it more than 5. Like I think I'm telling you, it was literally that one mistake he made in the second round that he gave up like just really bad. He was in good position and ended up in very bad position.
Third round,
and that was the difference.
He should have just went out and just shot a takedown, and then he didn't, and then Semmelsberger did.
Yep.
And then
I just
Semmelsberger, like they changed their game plan.
Yeah, I just think there was a lot of scenarios that Fletcher could have won. He'll be back. I think he's a talented kid. He's young.
Hopefully, future guest LSU bouncer, as we said formerly. Kicking off the main card, also the third leg of our parlay was Alex Pereira. Maybe I said that right. I kind of tried to put a little zazz on it.
Good.
Versus Bruno Silva. Pereira won as we expected him to. He got the decision. Almost got a knockout in the third. Wound up getting the decision. Continues to look good in the UFC. Doesn't look like a world beater, but looks very good. Looks like he's improving with his takedown defense and whatnot. Stuffed a few takedowns in this fight. So I still am looking at him as a big prospect.
I think Lover's helping him down in Connecticut.
Yep.
Or up in Connecticut. So, yeah, I think that's the right move for him. Like, I don't think. I mean, if you put him against Adesanya in, let's say, 3 months, Adesanya would.
I mean, did you see after
Mauls him?
Did you see who he called out in the post press?
Yeah. Who was
he called out Cannon. He called out Cannon.
That was hilarious.
Which is, I think, a mistake right now.
Cannon would just run through him.
He would, I think. Because
Bruno Silva impressed me. Like, there was a part, literally, it was the very, very end of the third round that and you saw Bruno Silva when the buzzer hit to end the fight, he collapsed.
Yeah.
He hurt him bad. And I'm telling you, there was a point that he was in the middle of the ring. I think he had no idea what was going on. I'm telling you, I think if Pereira just threw a huge punch or kick, he would have like highlight reel slept him.
Yeah.
But
he was hurt really bad.
This does show good cardio. He was throwing and
for all 3 rounds.
And for all 3 rounds. And it showed Silva threw some bombs in there.
No, he did. He was good. He impressed me.
And Silva's not bad, and I think Pereira showed he has a chin. Yeah. I mean, this shouldn't be surprising, but it's different.
I guess too is kickboxing fans it won't be, but I assume most people listening to this show or watching the show are probably getting their first taste of him in the UFC.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think people just he's the guy who knocked out Adesanya.
That's what a lot of UFC fans know him as, of course.
The takedown defense is good.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, wow. And he'll only get better at that. So I could see maybe a little bit of a run, but I don't know. Like
he needs some more fights.
He doesn't look like Adesanya looked when he came in.
No, he's not there yet. He needs.
Yeah, I mean,
he's 5-1.
Yeah.
6-1, 5-1.
5-1. Yeah.
I mean, he needs a few more fights before we're talking about even though Bruno is probably a guy who's like, I don't want to say like close to ranked, but I mean,
I think he is.
Would you say maybe top 30, top 25 in that weight class?
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a solid. Like he wasn't like dominant, but he was. It was a solid win.
That's one of those fights that I could see them putting together sooner than Pereira deserves it because of the big knockout, but not right now.
Not right now.
Like I could see I would say maybe one more. Like if he wins one more fight, like back end rank guy.
One more big highlight reel finish, and they're let's buy that footage of him knocking
Get a guy between like 11 and 15 in the rankings, maybe.
Yeah.
And test him and see how it goes.
I'm sure Adesanya would sign up for that because he wants revenge.
Yeah.
I will say he's huge.
Yeah, he is.
Dude. And even Silva's a big guy.
I wonder what his cut is.
Like, yeah, me too. I wonder how, like.
He looks like he could get to 240. Like
I was looking at I was just watching the little combination of all the weigh-ins, like after them coming together. He's massive.
6'4", I think.
He's 6'4", and he doesn't look like skinny. He just,
no.
I was shocked by how big he is, and I wonder what he fights at. Like how much he
he is in the cage.
I feel like in the cage, I bet he gets up to like 220.
Yep.
Yeah, 230.
I feel like he's somebody who, like, if he wasn't training, he could be like 240.
It probably helps with the takedown defense.
Yeah, definitely. The McKinney fight we touched on. Roundtree versus Roberson. Huge second round knockout. First round was even. Roundtree gave a very passionate post-fight speech where he was talking about being depressed, being 300 pounds, and just being down on himself and being like, I don't know how I could see a way out. And then he joined a gym and he became the man he is today, the fighter he is today. And it was a good speech. Definitely
it was awesome.
Earned him some fans, made us think like, oh, we should get him on the show one day, like tell the whole story. I know he used to smoke 2 packs a day. I saw a tweet from Aaron Bronstatter, 2 packs a day.
Holy shit.
And he was like a merch salesman for metalcore bands. He would tour the country with metal bands, sell their merch, smoke 2 packs a day, and then he like walked into a Muay Thai gym one day. The guy told him he's got potential, and now he's in the UFC.
He looked great.
I was gonna say I want to give him his flowers because I mentioned in the last show that I thought sometimes he didn't always show that killer instinct. Give him a lot of props because he fucking showed it
in this fight. Yeah, that kick,
dude, he got it. Like that was
that soccer kick to the stomach.
That was crazy.
Holy shit!
Yeah, when he was down, like
that was crazy. It was so.
Connor gave him props for that. Did you see Connor's post about that? He was like, "I love seeing creative ways to like use this. Nobody uses that."
Because it shocked me so much when I watched it. I had this like knee jerk. I was like, "Is that illegal?" And I was like,
"No."
I was like, "No, it's not." I was like, "It's not illegal." He was like,
"Well, let's say you got
it wasn't.
Is that illegal?"
The head, it would have been illegal.
The head, I think.
Yeah.
That's like I was like, "Wait," but I was like, "It wasn't to the head," so that was perfectly legal.
Right, and then he tried another one. He tried to like push him down with a kick, and that didn't land.
Like a stomp.
Yeah.
No, I bet Roberson, but like after watching the performance of Roundtree and then seeing like what he was saying after, I was like, oh, okay, whatever. Speaking of passionate post-fight, I was watching Eagle FC. Erwin Rivera, remember him?
Not
he
really.
Was like a UFC.
I know his backstory.
Okay, so Erwin Rivera was in the UFC, and he then got charged with murder. Attempted murder of his 2 sisters.
Yeah.
But it turned out his sister was in the ring with him, so it was. The sisters came out and said, like, we just wanted him to get his help that he needed because I guess he said he didn't sleep for 8 days and went insane. This is a real story. Like, I'm sure it's on YouTube. And the charges were dropped. He didn't attempt murder, I guess. And then he gave this speech about how, like, you have to get your sleep. And
really?
I was like, oh, okay, yeah, Erwin Rivera. But it was a very
7 hours every night.
Yeah, he was like, get your sleep, guys. It was almost like a Yoel Romero. Like I was like, what am I listening to? But,
I love Jesus.
Yeah. He was like, I was like, what am I listening to? But he was obviously. I mean, he got charged.
He went to jail, right?
Yes, he was charged with attempted murder of 2 sisters. But I guess he had like a manic breakdown and got the help he needed. And he won a fight in Eagle FC, so like good for him. So, but the speech isn't funny, but at the end when he says the whole main point is, hey guys, like just remember, like I went insane. I don't have anything wrong with me, but I went insane because I didn't sleep. I guess he didn't sleep for 8 days, and then that's when the attempted murder happened. It's a really crazy story.
I guess I can't. I've never stayed up for that long, so I can't.
I can't imagine staying.
I can't attest if I want to murder my sister after that or not, but
I think.
I mean, break that 8-hour threshold, and it's like murder.
Yeah, I'm just like I just looked at my sister with this rage.
Yeah.
So I don't know what led him to stay up
us
for 8
talking
days,
about it doesn't have him looking at us with rage.
No, fucking A.
But, congrats to Erwin Rivera he won.
Also, just before I was gonna say before I moved on with Roundtree, did you see what Sean Strickland quote tweeted the video?
Oh no.
What did he say?
Just extremely mean.
What did he say?
Essentially, it was a long-winded thing, but essentially he just called Khalil Roundtree a gigantic pussy.
Oh, Strickland. You can't say it in the year of our Lord, 2022?
That's not shocking from Strickland, though.
It basically just, that was paraphrasing.
Yeah,
it was like a paragraph.
Oh, yeah, this is bad.
Yeah, I guess Robbie pulled it. He can read it.
Yeah, this is, I mean.
Or if he wants to read
it. This is a quote.
Oh, okay.
I mean, should I even say the quote? It's a problematic quote. It says, all right, this is just.
You don't have to.
Sean Strickland says, gayest shit I've ever seen, and I love bi women, so I've seen a lot of gay. Yeah, you're really special, a special little snowflake. This man is the definition of a PC beta male. You would all hate him. Seriously, being in the same room as him makes me cringe. And yeah, he's getting roasted for that because he can't say shit like that in 2022. But Sean Strickland doesn't live in 2022.
No, he lives in 19.
Sean Strickland lives in his own universe even. So that's got 151 or 21 retweets and 130 quote tweets.
And the replies probably.
And almost 300 replies.
Well, that's not shocking from Sean Strickland.
No, Strickland anything comes out of his mouth, I'm not surprised. In a Stu Feiner way almost, but like different sides of the
I didn't
spectrum.
see that.
Stu Feiner's 10,000 times more sane than Sean Strickland.
Yeah, Strickland's a wild card.
Stu Feiner is the most self-aware person on the planet compared to Sean Strickland.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, Sean Strickland is honestly one of the wild interviews I think I've ever seen in like any capacity was when he was on Hawani show and basically admitted that he was like borderline. I don't want to say like he basically said he was like a part of the Aryan Brotherhood as a child.
Yeah.
And then realized that now he like grew up and realized that was bad, which I guess that part of it is like a good thing. But he just is like a wild card.
Now he wants to murder people in the cage every time he steps. In
Yeah,
the
that
cage,
too. That's the
He got the goal to murder his opponent. He would love to be able to legally murder someone.
He may end up like Erwin Rivera, but actually committing murder.
We got to make sure that
he might like murder someone like sparring.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and then be like, oh, he's a pussy.
PC
like,
Snowflake.
I feel like this is what he signed up for.
yeah, like you spar with Sean Strickland, man.
PC Snowflake tapped out. I said no tapping out. All right.
Have you seen that video of him like going up against a jiu-jitsu guy, and the guy like pulls some? It's like it's sparring, but they're like, it's not sparring like boxing. It's this wild video.
Rolling sparring.
No, they're on their feet though.
Oh,
and
but grappling.
They're grappling, and then he like pulls something on Strickland, and Strickland like it's really.
Oh, I did see that. He fucking yanks down on his arm, right?
And then they stop and they come together and do it again, and then he does it again to Strickland, and Strickland leaves the gym.
Yeah. I've seen that.
He's like, "What the fuck was that, man?"
Yeah.
But I thought he's not. That's kind of pussy though.
Yeah.
I get it from Strickland.
I don't know if you're like wrestling training, but it did look like he was trying to fucking like pull the socket out of his arm or his arm out of the socket.
He was like, "What the fuck?" But if anyone wants to go and watch that video, it's like 4 minutes. You can find it on YouTube.
Sadiq Youssef chews apart Alex Caceres' legs, gets the unanimous decision. Pretty dominant win, kind of as expected. Like Caceres, one of those guys who we like to root for, but not always going to come up on the
Yeah,
win side
he got his back a couple of times, and I thought had a shot at a couple of renegade
True.
jokes, but Sadiq did it. He did a good job defending it. Like, it never got like close.
Yeah.
There was a few times he got on his back where he like threw the arm around and was like trying for it, but he did a good job defending.
Controlling the hands and stuff.
Yeah, he turned in the right way and did a good job like that. So he's a guy who, honestly, a matchup that I thought about for him might be decent would be maybe him versus Edson.
Yeah.
Edson off a loss. Because Sadiq's 13.
Yeah.
Edson was just, I believe, 9 or 10 coming off a loss. They're two strikers.
That is a good fight.
I thought that may be a decent matchup for both of them.
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah,
I like that. In the co-main event, Song Yadong, huge right-hand knockout in the first round over Marlon Moraes. We knew his chin was suspect coming into the fight. I thought maybe he's the underdog play on this card. Clearly he wasn't. He took his gloves off in the cage afterwards, too. He might be done. He might be the next guy we see in Eagle FC. We don't know about that, but Song Yadong is the real deal. And when I was watching this, the main thing that was going through my mind was, holy fuck, this guy is one of the quickest strikers in the UFC.
Dude, he throws bombs.
His kicks, his body kicks that are just like fucking like a whip cracking, like
24.
boom. It's crazy.
He's just big, strong guy. Moraes, I felt bad. Because I didn't even realize, I watched a little thing before that I didn't know about even when we recorded the last episode, that he went to Thailand for this camp.
Yeah.
Moraes did.
So I felt that's when I saw him get knocked out. I was like, he was like
really trying.
Like he was like, I left my family. Like I put like everything into this fight and just get like knocked the fuck out.
Who was the
like
fighter, by the way, on this card who he won, and then he was like, by the way, my brother was just fighting. Did he win?
Bassrat.
Bassrat.
That was great. That was a great moment when
Who'd he
Paul
beat?
Felder was like,
He beat Trevor Jones.
yeah, Trevor.
It was a good
Jones.
fight. It was pretty. It was like competitive-ish. Like Bassrat was definitely like
It
always.
was one of my favorite moments of the night when Paul Felder was like, I got good news, brother. He started off with a head kick, finished with a rear naked choke. You both won. He was like, fuck yeah. It was
that
like
was
very
awesome.
cool for him to get to deliver that news to the guy. And also, I tweeted it like, imagine fighting knowing your brother's also in a fight. I would be thinking about that constantly. How can you focus on your own fight?
Yeah, he's someone. I mean, he's undefeated too. I think.
Yeah.
He's also. I think he said after the fight, I think he fights. His country is Afghanistan, but then
He didn't let him use the flag.
they didn't.
No, he didn't walk out with the flag. He walked out with it was just a gray like default flag. They were like,
And I think
no
he
Afghan
lives in
flags.
London though.
You know what I thought was interesting? No Afghanistan flag, but Russia's all good still.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if I agree with that. Like, I feel like you should be able to take the flag
Yeah.
that you're. Also,
We didn't
taking
go
a
to war
flag-
with Afghanistan.
What?
We didn't go to war with Afghanistan. It
know.
was more Taliban, yeah?
Yeah, and also
We're
like
doing war talk now.
bringing a flag to the ring is like that's your home country. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, I support.
He
But
was
yeah.
he was very upset about not being able to bring the flag. And I kind of get it.
Oh, I would be upset too. I didn't know that about that, but I think he is from because he said he's going back to London.
Yeah, he trains in London. Yeah.
But good for him. Yeah, and maybe his brother will get the call up too. He
nice.
called out Guido Canetti, which is like a hilarious call. Like
he wants 50 G's.
Yeah, 50 G's.
Yeah.
Like
he's looking for someone that
let me play this game on easy for a round. Let's see what I could do there.
Yeah, like another W in my columm. I thought that was funny though. He was thinking, he was like, who's the guy on this card? And it was like Guido Canetti.
Yeah,
I was like,
it's the only name he could think of on the card. The main event we saw Magomed fuck, how do you say his last name? Ankalaev. I say it wrong every single time versus Thiago Santos. Ankalaev came in minus 625, minus 650, minus 675 up to. He didn't really look like it in the fight. It was pretty even fight. He was never in huge danger. He got dropped in the second.
I would say the second one, I think he was
saved by the bell.
I was like, oh God.
Yeah, I was definitely feeling the same way. And we mentioned Thiago Santos via knockout, a little sprinkle. It was a decent play. Obviously, it didn't work out, but he didn't look like a minus 650 in this fight to me. It was a pretty boring main event, to be honest.
See, it was weird because like once you saw him get dropped, like he definitely didn't. But I feel like if he had kind of just wrestled, like if he did that from the jump,
the wrestling was working.
If he did from the jump, I feel like then he might have looked that way.
Yeah.
But it was because I definitely was like, when Thiago like hit him, I was like, oh God, like I thought he was like pretty close to getting not like finished, but maybe like another one of those. I don't know if he could have taken it,
or if it was earlier in the round even.
Yeah. It was scary there for sure. Like, because now it's kind of this. I've been seeing a lot of it on MMA Twitter, where now like kind of the narratives like I think they were very high on Ankalaev, and I think now people don't know how to feel about him.
Yeah, they don't know where his chin is. He's got knocked out once before.
Yeah, it was a weird performance because I don't think it like hurt his stock, but I think now people are still. It was like the fight went by, and I think people are still a little wait and see-ish. Like who do you think would be like a next fight for him? Because, I mean, he's high up in the rankings. Like, it's kind of only got to be, like an Anthony Smith?
I was just thinking Anthony Smith.
I think after it, Anthony Smith was on the...
Oh, yeah, he was on the...
show. And they asked Magomed about it. But it was through his translator, of course. But he said something along the lines of, like, I want a title fight next.
Yeah,
And then he mentioned something about, like, him and Anthony Smith had a fight lined up. But Anthony Smith rejected it. But then Anthony Smith was like, no, I just wasn't ready. I didn't want to take it on short notice, which is fair.
By the way, I said he got knocked out. He got submitted. I was just thinking back. Paul Craig submitted him.
Yeah. Who's fighting this weekend?
He's fighting this weekend.
Yeah.
But Magomed, I mean, I would say he looked minus 350, though. Like, he didn't
he was definitely the clear favorite.
He wasn't in danger.
100%.
He was controlling the fight, constantly backing up Thiago. There just wasn't a ton of activity in the fight.
Yeah.
I think in the first round, they said he threw 5 strikes. They were all like kind of bombs that landed, but like he threw 5 strikes. They were all significant strikes, but that was it.
It did seem like there was a point where he forgot that he's from Dagestan. Like,
yeah.
Like go out and fucking
throw a takedown. Like, what are you doing?
And then also, like, if he mounted Thiago, like, he could have just
ground and pound. Yeah.
But I mean, that was scary there for a second. But I will say, I think he did get knocked down, but after the round ended, he got up and he seemed okay.
Yeah,
I think he could have survived that if it was
right back into control in round 3.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. He didn't look minus 650.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like I think saying he almost got finished would be a stretch, but because I agree with you, like he definitely like had his wits about him. Pretty quickly after that, he wasn't like out.
But I think he was like, oh fuck.
I think it's smart. It's smart enough, but he realized like if I take another one of those, like, it might not be the same way.
And that was maybe part of the reason why the fight, I mean, it wasn't the most active fight in the first round, but like continued along that pace because they were both kind of like, oh, fuck, am I going to get knocked out? Are you going to knock me out? Am I going to knock you out? You're going to knock me out? Like, it was one of those.
He kept saying that he was like, I wanted to go 5 rounds. I wanted to go 5 rounds. I wanted to show that I could go 5 rounds. So I guess maybe this was a plan.
You just wanted to drag it out, like.
I agree with you. Why do that?
What's nicer than going 5 rounds, getting finished, buddy?
But he said that
bonus.
He said that. Yeah. He said that after every like interview I saw with him. He was like, "I wanted to go 5 rounds. I wanted to go 5 rounds."
He didn't get a bonus, by the way. The bonuses went out to Azamat, Brundage, Yadong, and Roundtree, as they should have. I don't think they did a fight of the night. I think they did.
I think those were the 4.
That's the way to go with that.
Yeah, Yadong. He's 24.
His next fight's going to be a big fight.
But could you imagine how good he's going to be when he's like 27 if he doesn't like get knocked out?
He could like lose the next one and then go back to like having to fight someone like Marlon Moraes.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, he came in at 19. Like that's insane.
It's crazy.
It does feel like he's been in the UFC forever. But
you saw who said like basically his call out.
Who did he say?
Cruz.
Oh, Cruz, Dominic Cruz. Yeah.
The
Great
AT&T
fight.
thing.
I remember that.
AT&T
thing.
The AT&T rivalry going. He's like I'd fight Dominic Cruz.
Faber's in his corner.
Yeah, that's. I don't hate that. I don't know if that's. I don't think Cruz is gonna take that fight.
I don't know if Cruz wants.
I don't think Cruz will take it. Cruz is
even
more
with,
into like title fights, like the huge names and shit. But I would, if it's almost like the fucking Karate Kid-esque of like, or Cobra Kai-esque of Uriah Faber being like, I couldn't beat him, but I'll coach a student to beat him. It's like a fun. They should just let Uriah Faber do all the pressers for him.
Yeah. Because I don't think he can
do Faber versus Cruz.
I'm sure
pressers.
He has decent English. It's kind of like baseball players, like they can speak English, but because they don't want to spend all their time talking to the media,
he seemed like he had pretty good English in his presser. He had his wife as his translator, and then he made the call out, and he sounded fine.
And then so Yadong, I'm like the way he throws those punches. He's quick,
1,000 miles
scary,
an hour.
man.
It's like.
And he looks the part too. Like he's just jacked. Fucking, he looks like a monster.
And I think he
looks big for the weight class.
I mean, it would,
dude.
But he didn't come out of the Performance Institute in China, right?
I don't think so.
He's from China, because all of the PI fighters from the Chinese, I guess.
Well, I know how he got in was like they did an event in Shanghai and he was like a late replacement.
Oh, interesting.
I think he was very young. I think he was like maybe he wasn't that. What the thing you're talking about? Because I know there was something where because he was so young, he was like 20 or something, and I think he basically got recommended. Like there was a dropout in the card like later on, and I think he was kind of recommended like he's local and like he's like this kid that's really fucking talented and good. You should give him a shot.
I think that was the same with Hamzat.
And then he won, and it just like
that was the card. He made his debut on the card where Gastelum beat Bisping in China. Remember? And Bisping took that fight on short notice too.
Jeez. Okay, so yeah. That's what, 2017?
Yeah. That was, I think, November 25th, 2017.
Because when he fought, he became officially the youngest active member of the roster.
Yeah.
He was the youngest fighter. I think he was 19 or 20.
I think he was 19 because they kept saying like 19. Yeah, the only thing is I just on MMA Twitter and like YouTube, a lot of people make fun of not make fun of, but they said like if you want easy money, fade the PI fighters out of China. Because they all have not done very well in the UFC.
Yeah. Wiley Zhang on a skid. She's not getting wins right now, right?
But there's some others that, like, I guess.
The ones that didn't make it to the top as well. Mentioning her, is a little unfair.
But she came from the Performance Institute?
I think she did.
Yeah.
So they got a champ.
They do.
Former champ, but still, I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, she's still, like, and she's young, too, I think.
Yeah, I don't think she's that old.
Yeah.
The problem is Rose is young too.
I know.
Yeah.
But Rose could be somebody that if you told me
Rose
today that she was retiring,
yeah, she's not
I'd be
gonna
like,
be around for much
sense.
longer. I don't think.
It's fair.
She's like, I feel like she was on her way out, like during her first title reign.
Well, yeah. Well, she almost was. I think after she lost it, she was almost like happy. She was like, "Oh no,
she was relieved. She was like, "Oh, that was too much pressure. Jesus Christ."
And then Magic hates her.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't like that. A lot of people hated that mindset. I'm like, I like that she was real about it.
Yeah, I don't know. She's like a.
How do you hate Thug Rose? Come on.
Yeah, I appreciate the. I'll say from a fighter, it's a very like tough, obviously rugged sport. I appreciate some vulnerability here.
Yeah, a little sensitive side. She said when McGregor threw the dolly, it messed her up mentally.
What if Sean Strickland tweeted about that?
Yeah, Strickland
Sean's
probably not.
No way he's a fan.
No
way he's a fan.
Someone that we are a fan of, Cody Brundage, will be joining the show. Up next, we'll have a preview of UFC London later in the week on Thursday, our usual day. And look out for our Spinnin Backfist parlay because the parlay also hit this week.
2-0 plus 7.75 units.
Plus 340 every week.
This week,
money
I
here.
think we'll be able to craft one up that.
I think we will.
I like it.
Patty's going to be a part of it, obviously. Going out there to support Patty. It'll be a Zoom show. So up next, our interview with Cody Brundage. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. Just got back into Denver, so kind of enjoyed Vegas yesterday, and I'm back home, so that's nice.
Yeah, that's beautiful. What was Saturday night like for you? What was just that overall night like? Early card, crazy fight. What was that like?
It was pretty nuts. My daughter was there, and so I was like, well, we probably won't be able to go out because, who brings a baby to Vegas? But My sister-in-law actually was like, "You guys enjoy your night." She ended up taking her, and I know you guys had Dustin Jacoby on recently. That guy goes hard, so he was leading the charge. Yeah, he was hard charging with me, so it was good, man. We had a great night. Definitely celebrated. It was really fun. We had a good crew out there.
I say congrats on the bonus. Congrats on the win. What's the first thing you're doing with the bonus?
Oh, well, me and my wife are actually trying to get a house, which is nuts right now. So probably going to be just going towards that, and then I also have a trust set up for my daughter. I'm going to put some money in there and try to be a little responsible. I might go try to get a new console. I haven't jumped on it yet. That might be my gift to myself, but I'm going to try to be responsible with it. I had to take a beating for it, so definitely had to earn the money. I don't want it to go to waste.
You're so much smarter than me. Like, I would be like, oh, I'd probably get a gold chain. He's like, oh, I'm gonna set a trust. I'm gonna buy a house for my family and a trust fund.
Yeah, that's the most responsible way to use that money.
He
Yeah.
couldn't be more responsible. So obviously, big comeback win. I want to ask you just from I was so curious about this from a fighter's perspective as I'm watching the fight. Obviously, early on, he has you against the cage. Like, he's landed some big shots. Like I guess it's two parts. One, I guess, how hurt were you actually, as opposed to maybe just visual body language, and two, what's your active thought process as obviously he's getting the better of you in that second, landing some big shots. How hurt were you, and what are you thinking in that moment?
So I was in on a single early, and he had a wizard position up against the cage, and he landed an uppercut, and that buzzed me pretty good. But other than that, he wasn't landing anything too clean. So I was in it, mentally I was in it. Mark Smith, the ref, was like, "Hey, you got to move." And I looked at him and was like, "I'm good." I said it to him, was vocal with him. So I was aware, I went back and watched it. It definitely looks not great, right? I'm definitely look like I'm fending for my life, but I was in it. I felt mentally there. And I remember thinking, my coach, he yells out, he's like, "You got 90 seconds. And I felt him. And I knew this going into it, that he didn't have great cardio, right? If any knock on him, it would be that he didn't have a great gas tank. And he was just going nuts. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm going to lose this round, right? Unless I knock him out or finish him, I'm going to lose the round. He's not got much juice on what he's throwing towards the end of the round because he's gone so hard. So I was like, okay, I lose this round, but second and third, he's going to have nothing left. I weathered the storm, and I'll be able to go get the finish then. Luckily, I didn't even have to. I was able to pull it out. But I felt confident going forward, because I wasn't hurt, and I knew how much energy he had expended, that I'd be able to come back and get the win.
Did you know it was over the second you locked up that guillotine? Did you know, oh, this is so tight, there's no way he's getting out?
Yeah, as soon as I got to guard, when I jumped it, I have a really good squeeze. That's kind of, a lot of people don't shoot on me. And when they do, that's kind of my go-to. And I saw his hand go up almost immediately when we hit the ground. You ever seen guys, they do this right before they're going to tap? They're thinking about it. They want to. And I saw his hand go up. I'm like, oh, that's ball game. That's going to be a wrap. Because I knew there was still a minute left, too. I knew we had enough time that he wasn't going to be able to hold out that position too long.
Was that just the greatest feeling ever? Was that one of your most satisfying wins you've ever had?
For sure. I've always struggled with, my own personal demons of, winning the big one, right? I took second in high school wrestling 3 times. I was around from being an All-American in college wrestling twice. I lost on Contender Series. I lost my UFC debut. So I always had this monkey on my back of maybe you're just not the guy who gets it done in the big one. And to finally get that done against a good opponent, Dolce's no joke. He's a legit opponent. It feels really good. It feels good to get on the good side of winning. Getting a bonus is just extra. And I think it's going to do a lot moving forward for my confidence and just feeling like I actually belong there, and knowing that,
We were just talking about the moment where you got the bonus. It was on Dustin Jacoby's Instagram story. You guys just going crazy, and it's just great to see the camaraderie between you guys, cornering each other, all of that. It's a really cool relationship in MMA.
Yeah, for sure. He's a little older than me. I always give him a bunch of crap. I always tell him he's ancient, but no, he's a great dude. He's been through it, man. We always say he's been through it to get to it. I haven't been in the sport that long, and if I could model my career after anyone, Dustin's the guy to do it. He faced a lot of adversity, but look where he is now, top 15 in the world on a 6-fight unbeaten streak. He's crushing it. And he's just a great dude, and he's a good person. And those are the kind of people you want around you for sure.
From the mental aspect of the fighting game, you were just talking about getting that monkey off your back. Did you do you have any techniques that you do to get you in the right zone on fight night, or even like in between? I mean, I can't relate 100%, but everyone always struggles with, oh, I don't know if I'm the guy, and there's always things that you come up short with. So I don't know, even if like any suggestions or techniques that you've done throughout your fighting career.
I actually recently this year just started reading books.
Oh,
so I read David. Yeah,
This year,
first
book.
Sounds like I'm
First book. That's awesome.
I've read books in the past,
Okay.
for mental like conditioning almost, and it's not even that like you have to read all these self-help books that all tell you the same thing. I think just reading books and hearing people's stories. So like I listened to Matthew McConaughey's book, I listened to Will Smith's book, I'm listening currently to David Goggins' book. It's just interesting to see how those guys deal with adversity, and how those guys who are ultra successful in their individual fields, how they dealt with adversity and worked through it. And then maybe what they're doing doesn't work for me, but at least I know, okay, well, this is something they did. And then I figure out, oh, does it work for me or not? And if it doesn't, that's fine. Right. But if it does, great, I'll add it to the book, because a lot of it, bro, sometimes nothing's going to work. Like before I went out to that fight, I remember telling my coach, I'm like, man, my legs are heavy. I feel a lot of anxiety. You have the weirdest thoughts before you go out there and fight. Like I met my daughter and my wife for breakfast that morning, and I was like, I better kiss him because I'm probably going to die today.
Oh my God.
Jeez.
Dude.
It's like nuts, bro. Like it's the chance of that happening, not going to happen. Right. But your brain just plays tricks on you. Like, you don't need to do this. You shouldn't do this. I'm like, man, my legs are heavy. I looked at my boy, Colin Angle. I'm like, man, my legs are really heavy. He's like, hey, no one cares. So shut up. Don't make it happen. I'm like, yeah, you're right, bro. It's too late now. We signed the dotted line. But yeah, your mind's a crazy thing. I think MMA is and most sports and most things in life are mostly mental. So if you can master that, I think it gives you a good shot to be successful.
Yeah, maybe you can get Goggins in your corner coming up.
That'd be nice.
He's that's one crazy guy. But yeah, his book, I've read his book. His book's amazing. Both.
Yeah, he's a savage. For sure.
We know Dustin Jacoby's out of the cage pastime is golf. We had him on the show. He's telling us all about his handicap, how much he loves to golf. What is your out of the cage? Let me find something to do.
It's not golf. I've gone with those guys a couple of times. They're really good. And I mean, it's fun to play around, but I'm the guy that wants to go on the golf course, have some beers. I don't care what I'm shooting. You know, Dustin's ultra competitive, so it's tough to go with him sometimes because he's also very, very good at golf. I'm not. I would say my pastime, man, I just like hanging out with my family, honestly. You know, I also work a full-time job. I train, so I'm home very little. So the time that I do get, I really cherish spending time with my daughter, my wife. I don't really need to be doing too much, as long as they're around, I feel pretty good about it.
And you wore the armband for your daughter this weekend. It was epilepsy awareness, correct?
Yeah, epilepsy awareness. She has a rare gene condition called ALG13, which basically just makes her prone to epilepsy, a lot of developmental delays. I'm actually at the hospital. I left. So I got back into Denver. I'm going to go to the hospital right after this podcast because she's going to have to get a bunch of tests done because they want to put her on some kind of special diet that's going to prevent seizures and things like that moving forward. So that's what my next 3 days look like. But I was glad the UFC let me do that. Sometimes they're a little finicky with props and things like that. They're really careful about what they're willing to brand. And they let me do that. So I thought that was pretty cool.
I thought that was awesome. Is there anywhere people could go and donate, or are you trying to raise funds for epilepsy or anything like that?
I'm not, but I had a bunch of people hit me up and say, hey, they're like, I won money on you. Where can I donate to this? And I thought that was really cool. So moving forward, maybe I'm going to find maybe I'm sure there's a nonprofit out there for rare disease and things like that. And I'm going to start promoting that more because I didn't, it's crazy because I'm a small town kid. You never really realize your outreach and who you might be reaching and who you might be making an impact on. And I think this fight really showed me dang, there's a lot of people out there that are willing to help, want to help, and are interested in the story. So I think that's pretty cool.
Absolutely. They're out there. So keep an eye on Cody's, all his social media. If he finds one in the next fight, I'm sure you'll tweet it out and stuff like that. And we'll let you get back to the hospital because that sounds like important business. More important than talking to these three idiots right here. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, man, I'm really glad you guys had me on. Dustin told me he was coming on your show. I'm like, bro, that's so sick. Those guys are awesome. He's like, yeah, man, it's gonna be cool. And then you guys hit me up. I'm like, yeah, bro, you're not that special. I'm on there too. What's up?
That's right. Yeah, you tell him that. Yeah. All right. We appreciate the time. Congrats on the win again. Congrats on the bonus. It was awesome. We can't wait to see your next fight, man.
Awesome, guys. Appreciate you.